Have you ever been around someone and just felt something in the air? A kind of quiet spark that wasn't exactly friendship, and definitely wasn't anger? That strange magnetic pull that doesn't come with a label, but somehow feels charged? That's what people usually call sexual tension. And if you've ever felt it, you know it's not subtle. It's that buzz you can't quite explain. A shift in the atmosphere, a look that lingers too long, a silence that feels loud for no reason. But the tricky part, it doesn't always come with obvious signs. Sometimes it hides in the smallest moments, in the way someone stands near you, in the way time starts behaving differently, in the way you both pretend nothing's happening when everything is happening. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through the strongest signs of sexual tension between two people, the ones most people miss. So whether you felt it before and want to understand it better, or you're wondering if that recent moment meant more than it seemed, this will help you see it clearly. Before we get into that, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel if you've not already, and ring that notification bell to stay up to date on all our videos. 1. You both pretend not to notice the closeness, but neither of you moves away. There's a moment where two people are suddenly a little too close, knees almost touching, shoulders overlapping slightly, breaths mixing in shared space. It might happen on a couch, at a dinner table, in a doorway, or even standing in line. And yet, despite the slight crowding, no one adjusts, no one backs up. It would be so easy to create more space, and yet neither person does. That's not just physical proximity, that's unspoken permission. The body has a built-in radar for boundaries, and when sexual tension is present, that radar gets scrambled. Instead of triggering discomfort, closeness starts to feel like necessary friction. Each second spent in that too small space is saying, "This is happening, and we both know it." What makes this sign powerful is how quiet it is. It's not about touching, it's about the refusal to stop almost touching. That sliver of space between you becomes charged, like a live wire waiting to be crossed. And the truth is, people only allow that kind of subtle intrusion into their space when there's trust, intrigue, and tension. 2. There's a strange pause before one of you speaks, like the tension is deciding who goes first. Conversations with sexual chemistry have a weird rhythm. It's not just about what's said, it's about the space between sentences. When there's tension, those spaces stretch. Not awkwardly, but meaningfully. There's a pause, just a little too long, before someone answers a question, like the silence is part of the message. And here's the fascinating part. Both people notice that pause. It's like something unsaid is hovering in the air, waiting to see if anyone's brave enough to name it. Sometimes one person opens their mouth to speak, but then doesn't. Sometimes both people do, and then laugh nervously. That tug of war isn't about the topic. It's about energy. It's about holding the moment open just long enough to let the possibility of something else be felt. In normal conversations, people fill silence automatically. When there's tension, silence becomes intoxicating, and both people feel it dragging them somewhere. 3. You both lower your voices unconsciously, like you're sharing something secret. It starts without anyone noticing. A voice that was clear and casual a minute ago suddenly gets softer. Not whispering, but deeper, slower, like it's wrapping the words in velvet. And without prompting, the other person mirrors it, matching tone for tone, like the entire interaction just dropped into a private channel. This isn't flirting in the traditional sense. It's intimacy building itself out of sound. A lowered voice subconsciously signals trust, confidentiality, but also a kind of emotional privacy. It says, "This is just for you. No one else gets this version of me." And it's never planned. That's the giveaway. Neither person is trying to sound seductive, but something in the atmosphere is making both of them lean in, literally and vocally, as if louder words might break whatever is forming between them. This voice shift is one of the earliest physiological signs of tension. The body is protecting the moment, and it's telling the nervous system, we're not speaking to everyone anymore, we're speaking to them. Before we keep going, if you're watching this to sharpen how you move through life, not just relationships, drop elevate in the comments. Let's see who's committed to the upgrade. 4. The energy spikes when someone else joins the conversation, and drops when they leave. When two people are locked in a tension-filled dynamic, even the presence of a third person shifts everything. Watch what happens when someone else walks up. There's a flicker. Maybe one of them steps back, or their eyes break contact. The flow gets interrupted. The shared rhythm goes flat. And then, when that third person leaves, it's like the room exhales. Eye contact returns. Postures realign. The emotional current clicks back on, and both people feel it, even if they don't acknowledge it. What's happening here isn't about jealousy. It's about emotional privacy being disrupted. When sexual tension is building, it creates a kind of invisible room within a room, a private zone that others can't enter without breaking the spell. Even something as small as someone refilling a glass or laughing too loudly nearby can feel like interference. And if that interruption leaves both people slightly dazed or quiet afterward, that's not awkwardness. That's the tension rebooting itself. 5. You start finishing each other's sentences, but it feels less cute, more charged. Normally, finishing someone's sentence is playful, maybe a little annoying, but in a tension-heavy interaction, it's different. When two people keep slipping into each other's verbal lanes, completing thoughts with eerie accuracy, it stops being about coincidence. It becomes mental alignment with a physical undertone. The moment someone says, "You know what's crazy about that?" and the other says that it's not even surprising anymore, and they both freeze, there's a realization. We're not just on the same page, we're in the same sentence. This can feel almost telepathic, like each person is anticipating the direction, feeling the emotional charge of the topic before it lands. And it doesn't feel safe or familiar. It feels electrified, like bumping into someone in the dark and realizing you were already reaching for them. That kind of conversational collision doesn't happen with just anyone. It happens when attraction becomes synchronization, and language gets pulled into the chemistry. 6. There's a moment where both of you laugh, then go completely silent. That silence says more. Laughter is a release valve. In interactions loaded with tension, it often bubbles up suddenly, loud, unfiltered, real. But what happens right after the laugh can be even more revealing. If both people drop into silence immediately after, no follow-up joke, no deflection, no easy transition, that's the moment to notice. The laughter wasn't just about humor. It was about releasing built-up pressure. And when that pressure releases, it creates a vacuum, a stillness where everything becomes louder internally. This silence feels heavier, not awkward, more like the emotional residue of something intimate being exposed for a split second. Eye contact might return. One person might shift their weight or exhale sharply. It's not about what was funny, it's about what the body just let out, and what it's holding back. Shared silence after shared laughter is one of the clearest, least talked about markers of sexual tension. It means both people felt the same spike, and are now quietly trying to recover from it. 7. Neither of you checks your phone, even though it buzzed. In a world of constant digital distraction, deliberate presence is rare. So when two people stay locked in, not out of politeness, but out of genuine absorption, that's a sign. Especially if one of them hears a notification or feels a buzz and still doesn't look away. This isn't about good manners. This is about disruption feeling wrong. Even a glance at a screen might feel like a betrayal of the moment, like it would puncture something invisible that's building between them. Sexual tension sharpens attention. It makes people hungry to observe, to receive micro-signals, to stay tuned into the frequency of the other person. A phone becomes background noise. Time starts warping, and both people sense it. If you ever find yourself ignoring the outside world, not because you should, but because you can't look away, you're in it. 8. Your bodies find the same rhythm, sipping drinks, shifting weight, blinking slower. Without realizing it, your body starts mirroring theirs, not just in gestures, but in timing. You both lean back at the same moment. You sip your drink seconds apart. Your posture shifts as theirs does, and neither of you notices. This isn't social mimicry. It's limbic-level entrainment, the body's way of aligning itself with someone it's drawn toward. When there's real sexual tension, your nervous systems start to co-regulate. Heart rates sync up, breathing patterns start to overlap, and the body responds by syncing behavior. You can't fake this, and it doesn't happen with everyone. It's usually subtle enough that others don't notice, but intense enough that both people start to feel in step with each other without understanding why. It's one of the cleanest signs that what's happening isn't just intellectual connection, it's embodied chemistry. 9. You both keep offering to share something, food, water, a secret, just to break a barrier. There's something quietly intimate about offering to share. It's not the thing itself, it's what it represents. Permission to cross a line. When two people keep offering small tokens, want a bite? Need some water? Should I tell you something weird? It's not just generosity, it's testing. It's a way of softening boundaries without making a direct move. What's interesting is that the shared thing is usually insignificant. What matters is the emotional subtext. I'm opening a small door. Will you walk through it? This kind of sharing is ritualistic. It's a micro-invitation. And when tension is mutual, the offers start flowing back and forth, like both people are trying to find safe, low-stakes ways to say, I want to be closer. 10. You mirror each other's discomfort, not out of awkwardness, but shared anticipation. Real tension doesn't always feel good. Sometimes it makes people shift in their seat, adjust their clothing, glance away, fidget with something nearby. But when both people start doing it in sync, there's something deeper going on. It's not anxiety, it's charged anticipation. The body feels the buildup and starts trying to regulate, And when two bodies are reading that charge at the same time, their discomfort starts to match. This is a sign that something mutual is brewing, that both people are aware of what's unsaid, and that awareness is bleeding into how they hold themselves physically. If you've ever noticed someone adjusting their sleeve the second after you fix your posture, without either of you looking at each other, that's not coincidence. That's two nervous systems waiting for the same moment to happen. 11. One of you touches an object the other just touched, as if tracing where they were. It's not obvious. It might be a coffee cup, a napkin, a door handle, or a pen. But there's something oddly compelling about touching something right after someone else has. Not deliberately, almost absent-mindedly. When sexual tension is present, even residual contact takes on meaning. The object becomes a kind of proxy, something one person's body just left behind, and the other's is now exploring. It sounds small, but it's deeply primal. We're drawn to the warmth, the scent, the leftover impression. This gesture is usually unconscious. That's what makes it powerful. One person sets something down. The other picks it up seconds later, rolling it between their fingers or resting their hand exactly where the first hand was. It's not about the object. It's about chasing the trace of someone else. In environments charged with chemistry, even indirect touch becomes a form of emotional intimacy. And when that pattern repeats, when it's not just once but habitual, it's one of the clearest signals that the body is already seeking more contact, without yet asking for it. 12. You both lean in, then one of you leans back, then leans in again. This is one of the most telling rhythms of tension, the lean forward, lean back dance. It's a physical dialogue between interest and restraint. One person moves in, closer, more engaged, more open, and the other follows. But then, just when it gets too close, one of them pulls away. Not fully, just enough to disrupt the flow, just enough to reset the charge. But it doesn't stay that way. A few minutes later, it happens again, like waves building against the shore. In environments full of tension, this kind of approach-retreat pattern often replaces direct flirtation. It's safer, it's plausible, and it's endlessly repeatable. You might not even notice it's happening, but if someone keeps mirroring your movement, approaching when you do, pulling back when you pull away, reapproaching later, that's not randomness. That's their body negotiating tension. Because when the energy is mutual, closeness is exciting and terrifying at once, and this physical back and forth becomes the language of unspoken desire. 13. The space between you holds tension like a held breath, and both of you know it. Sometimes it's not about what's said or done, but about what's suspended. You're sitting across from someone, or standing next to them, and the space between you stops feeling neutral. It becomes dense, like it's filled with potential energy just waiting to be released. You don't even need to touch. The silence between your arms, the few inches of air between your knees, the line of sight not yet crossed, all of it holds something invisible, something neither person is willing to name. This isn't the tension of awkwardness. It's intentional stillness. Both people are holding the moment like it might shatter, and neither wants to be the one who breaks it too early. This kind of space doesn't happen with everyone. You don't feel it with friends or in normal social interactions. It's specific, charged, unmistakable. And the longer it holds, the more emotionally intoxicating it becomes. It's like standing on a threshold, and both of you know that stepping forward would change everything. 14. Compliments are wrapped in disclaimers. Not that it means anything. In moments of real sexual tension, compliments stop being casual. They become loaded, even if no one admits it. And to keep things from tipping too far too fast, people often wrap attraction in disclaimers. You'll hear phrases like, not to be weird, but I probably shouldn't say this, but totally platonically, but that looks really good on you. Or even, don't read into this. That's not neutrality. That's tension trying to hide inside a joke. These disclaimers are defense mechanisms. They're a way of offering intimacy while keeping the exit door open. And the more tension exists, the more elaborate the disclaimers get, as if the mind knows what the body is doing and is scrambling to keep it under wraps. Pay attention to how often someone backpedals while complimenting you, or how often you do the same. That hedging isn't just awkwardness. It's the weight of attraction leaking through controlled language. 15. You notice each other's scent, and the conversation drifts because of it. Scent is one of the most primal triggers of attraction, but most people only talk about it in the obvious ways, like someone wearing cologne. But here's what rarely gets mentioned. When two people are experiencing sexual tension, they become hyper-aware of each other's natural scent. It could be the way their clothes smell after a long day, or the trace of skin on their sweater, or even the scent of their shampoo. But when that scent hits, conversation subtly shifts. It slows. Words become clumsy. Thoughts scatter. It's not about the scent itself. It's about what scent does to the brain. It pulls attention into the limbic system, where logic takes a back seat and memory, emotion, and desire start driving. If you've ever been mid-conversation and suddenly lost your train of thought because you leaned a little too close and caught a whiff of someone, and then had to play it off, that wasn't random. That was your body reacting to chemical intimacy. And if they noticed too, that tension just got stronger. 16. The air feels heavier after a joke lands, like something unspoken is louder than the laughter. Humor is one of the easiest ways to mask attraction. When people are feeling pulled toward each other but can't say it out loud, they flirt through laughter, sarcasm, teasing, exaggerated disbelief. It creates plausible deniability. No one has to confess anything, but the real giveaway isn't the laughter. It's what happens right after. When tension is present, a joke might land, and then the air gets thick. The laughter slows down. A kind of emotional hangover sets in. Maybe there's a look exchanged, or a moment where one person blinks too slowly. Maybe nothing is said at all, but the energy changes. The moment stretches, and both people feel the weight of whatever just passed between them. Not the words, but the spark hiding inside them. This isn't about being funny, it's about using humor as a shield, and then realizing the shield cracked. 17. One of you says, "This feels weird," but keeps standing closer anyway. There's a funny thing that happens when sexual tension builds. Someone eventually acknowledges it, but not directly. Instead, they say something vague. "This is weird. This feels intense. I don't know what's going on right now." All code. What matters isn't the words, it's the behavior that follows. Because if someone says, "This feels weird," but keeps leaning in, keeps making eye contact, keeps sharing stories or touching your arm, that contradiction is the signal. They're not uncomfortable. They're buzzing with awareness and don't know what to do with it. This is the body and mind out of sync. The mind wants control. The body wants connection. So the mouth says one thing and the behavior says something completely different. That moment, when someone calls it weird but doesn't walk away, is where the tension peaks. 18. You both play devil's advocate, not to argue, but to prolong the interaction. In conversations with tension, disagreement becomes flirtation, not real conflict, just a kind of intellectual push-pull where both people challenge each other, poke holes in ideas, or argue positions they don't even believe in. But it's not about winning. It's about keeping the conversation alive, about watching the other person think, react, defend. It's not debate. It's verbal intimacy, dressed up as disagreement. This kind of interaction has a very specific feel. You interrupt each other, but neither gets annoyed. You raise your eyebrows and smile while saying, "You really think that?" You start sentences with, "Okay, but what if?" Not to correct them, but to stay longer in the dialogue. This is the tension of two people testing each other. Not to fight, but to tease the boundary between disagreement and desire. And when it's mutual, it feels thrilling, not frustrating. 19. Hands hover just a little too long near each other, like they're waiting for permission. Hands are some of the most expressive parts of the body, especially when it comes to tension. In moments of real chemistry, hands start orbiting each other. Not touching, not reaching, just hovering. Someone might gesture with their hands close to yours. You might reach for something at the same time. Fingers might brush, not on purpose, but not completely by accident either. And after that, the hands linger. One person pretends to be occupied with something else. The other flexes their fingers like they're trying to dissipate static. No one says anything. This moment is one of the clearest pre-touch signals. The body wants contact. The mind doesn't know if it's allowed yet. So the hands become ambassadors, hovering, hesitating, and hinting. If you've ever caught yourself doing that, or noticed someone doing it around you, you weren't imagining it. That's chemistry making itself known through hesitation. 20. Time does something strange. Either crawling or disappearing, nothing in between. When tension is real, time warps. It either slows down unbearably, every glance stretched out like a scene in a movie, or it vanishes entirely. Hours pass like minutes. Conversations feel like they start in one lifetime and end in another. You look up and realize the place is empty. You check the clock and can't believe how long it's been. Or the opposite. You feel like you've been talking forever, only to realize it's been 10 minutes. But so much happened in that space. This time distortion isn't random. It's a side effect of emotional absorption. When the nervous system is activated by attraction, the brain slips out of linear thinking. It moves into experience mode, where awareness expands, but measurement collapses. If you've ever walked away from someone and thought, "What just happened to time?" you already know the answer. 21. You remember what they were wearing days later, and feel the atmosphere all over again. Not everyone has a photographic memory, but when real sexual tension is present, your brain logs sensory snapshots with eerie precision. You'll remember what they wore, the texture of their jacket, the way their sleeve creased when they leaned in, the color of their shoes, even if you never consciously looked at them. But what's more interesting is how those memories reactivate emotion. Days later, something will remind you. A scent, a song, the way someone else stands, and bam, you're right back in that moment. You remember not just what happened, but how the air felt, the buzz in your stomach, the electricity of almost touching. This is how the brain marks moments of tension. It encodes them more deeply, because they're charged. Even brief interactions can leave long-lasting imprints, not because of what was said, but because of what was felt and not acted on. When memory becomes immersive, it's not nostalgia, it's unresolved chemistry still trying to finish its story. 22. Eye contact lingers past comfort, then breaks like glass. Eye contact is always meaningful, but with sexual tension it becomes almost unbearable, because it's too revealing. The moment stretches. One person locks eyes, the other holds it, and just when it starts to feel like something is being silently confessed, it breaks. Suddenly, sharply. One person looks away, not casually, more like they just realized they were naked in public. That break isn't rejection, it's emotional overload. The nervous system can only hold so much intimacy without words. And when the eyes start speaking louder than the conversation, the body pulls the emergency brake. Sometimes it's followed by a smile, or a change of subject, or a sudden need to adjust something, sleeves, hair, glass. But that snap in eye contact, that's the body going, too much, too soon. And ironically, that's one of the most honest signs that the tension is real. Because real tension wants more, but doesn't know if it's allowed yet. 23. One of you adjusts your clothes mid-conversation, even though nothing's out of place. It might be smoothing a sleeve, fixing a cuff, retucking a shirt, fidgeting with a necklace, or adjusting the collar. These are not wardrobe malfunctions. They're nervous system reactions. When tension builds, the body wants to self-regulate, but it doesn't always know how. So it finds tasks, things to do, movements that look functional, but are actually about managing exposure. Clothing becomes the closest surface between the self and the other person. So when someone keeps adjusting it, even when it's already in place, it's often because their body feels seen and wants to rearrange its armor. This is especially telling when it's not habitual. If someone who normally sits still starts fixing their hoodie drawstring or pulling at invisible lint, that's tension trying to disguise itself as neatness. And if you catch yourself doing it too, after someone gets a little too close, you already know what's happening. 24. You replay what they said after they've gone. Not for meaning, but for tone. Sometimes the words don't matter. You don't remember the exact phrases, but you remember how it sounded, the way their voice dropped on that one line, the way they said your name, that slight hesitation before a joke, that small, unintended laugh. When sexual tension is real, the emotional subtext becomes louder than the content. And later, when you're alone, your brain starts looping it, not to analyze, but to refeel. You don't care what the topic was. You care how close they leaned in when they said it, how soft their voice went, how they smiled after. That tone becomes sticky. It plays in your head like a melody you can't shake. This is your nervous system trying to hold on to a moment of intimacy, because deep down, it knows something happened, and it's not ready to let go of it yet. 25. Touch happens through objects. Passing something hand to hand becomes electric. Direct touch can be obvious, but when there's tension, it often finds safer pathways. One of the clearest? Passing objects. It could be a cup, a pen, a phone, a napkin. What matters isn't the object, it's the moment of contact. One hand reaches out, the other meets it. Skin brushes. Not long enough to register as intentional, but just long enough to register as something. And then the object lingers. Or the hand stays out a beat longer than necessary. Or the fingers touch more than they need to. It's all justifiable, but everyone feels it. This kind of indirect contact is a test. It's a way of saying, can we share touch without breaking the spell? And if the answer is yes, if both people keep creating these handoff moments, the chemistry isn't just real. It's growing more confident. Because when desire can't speak openly, it starts using props. 26. You both stand diagonally, not squarely facing, but open, vulnerable. Body positioning says more than words. And one of the least talked about signs of tension is when two people unconsciously angle themselves toward each other, but not straight on. They stand just slightly diagonal, shoulders tilted, feet pointing in, but torsos slightly turned. It's a position of readiness, half facing, half defensive, fully attuned. Why does this matter? Because it's a stance of intimacy negotiation. Square facing can feel too aggressive. Side by side feels too platonic. Diagonal is the in-between, vulnerable enough to signal interest, but protective enough to stay safe. What's more telling is when the other person mirrors it. You both adopt the same asymmetric openness, and neither of you moves out of it. That body language isn't an accident. It's choreography your nervous system's invented on the spot, and it's only performed when chemistry is real, but still being explored. 27. Small talk dies fast, and what's left feels emotionally naked. There's a shift in conversation that marks tension. Banter disappears, and suddenly you're talking about something that matters. You didn't plan to. You were just joking about something ridiculous, and now you're telling a story you never usually share, or listening to one, and it's quiet, and intimate, and slightly terrifying. This transition often happens abruptly. One person says something honest, and the other doesn't flinch. Instead, they match it. Vulnerability starts to stack, and suddenly, the room feels quieter, even if music is playing. This isn't oversharing, it's emotional pacing. The bodies recognize each other. The nervous systems say, "We can go here, let's go." When small talk becomes irrelevant, and both people lean into the emotional center of the moment, tension stops being playful and starts being undeniably real. 28. One of you almost says something, then swallows it. The other notices. There's a look, a pause, a breath that gets pulled back in. Someone opens their mouth, starts to say something, but doesn't. Instead, they smile, or shake their head, or say, "Never mind," and the other person catches it. This is one of the quietest, most powerful signs of sexual tension, because it reveals how much is being held back. Not because it's inappropriate, but because saying it out loud might tip the scale too far. You can feel the pull of the unsaid thing, the question, the confession, the reveal. And in that half-second of restraint, the room tightens. Time pauses. Your breath sinks. And then it passes. But not really. Because now you're both thinking about what wasn't said, and that thought lives in the space between you, louder than anything else. Tension loves the unsaid, and this moment is its signature move. 29. You both stall the goodbye, even if it's late, even if it's cold. One of the strongest signs of unspoken chemistry is how long people resist ending the moment. Maybe you've both stood up already, bags in hand, one foot out the door, but something keeps holding it. Just one more thing. Wait, before I forget, I don't want to keep you, but these aren't just social tics. They're emotional extensions. The nervous system isn't ready to detach. Not yet. And both people keep finding excuses to stretch the scene. It doesn't matter how tired you are, how long the ride home is, how late it's gotten. When tension is present, leaving feels like a rupture. So people stall, drag their feet, loop the conversation, start new topics, walk to the door slowly. And the irony? The longer the goodbye, the heavier the atmosphere gets. Because both people are feeling the same thing. I don't want this to end. Not yet. 30. You feel a physical ache after parting, like tension built with nowhere to go. When the interaction is finally over, when the door closes, the elevator leaves, or the text thread ends, something strange happens in the body. Not just disappointment, a real ache. It's in the chest, or the stomach, or the legs even. It feels like something heavy has been left behind, like energy that didn't get used, words that didn't get said, a connection that didn't get consummated, emotionally, not just physically. This isn't sadness, it's residual electricity. Tension doesn't just vanish, it stays in the system. It echoes in your muscles, it replays in your memory. It shows up as restlessness, distraction, even dreams. And if the other person feels it too, if they reach out the next day or say something like, "I haven't been able to stop thinking about that conversation," then you weren't imagining it. Some moments leave fingerprints on your nervous system. That ache, that's one of them. Up next, discover the signs girls think you're good looking, or learn how to tell if someone regrets losing you. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more.